Grief is one of those experiences that unite us all as human beings. We all, at some point in our lives, face loss. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, a relationship, or even a way of life we once knew. And yet, despite the universality, grief can be one of the loneliest journeys we'll ever take. I want to talk about a specific kind of grief that often goes unspoken. It is called the disenfranchised grief. It is a grief that doesn't always fit neatly into society's boxes, and it makes it harder for people to validate or even recognize it. A few years ago, a dear friend of mine lost his father. Now, this wasn't your typical father-son relationship. My friend had grown up without much contact from his dad, despite making effort after effort to reconnect throughout these years. In his teens into his 20s and 30s, he kept reaching out, calls, texts, even an invitation to his own wedding. His father never responded. It wasn't until weeks after his father's passing that my friend received a text from a distant relative with the news. He grieved. He grieved for the father he lost, but more profoundly, for the father he never truly had. Flowers, condolences poured in, but beneath all, he wrestled with guilt, regret, and a complicated sense of loss that my friend is disenfranchised grief. Disenfranchised grief is a kind of grief that isn't widely recognized by society. It's when the relationship you had, the circumstances of the death, or the way you express your grief doesn't meet the typical expectations. Think about situations like losing a former partner, a pet, or even someone you have a strange relationship with, like a friend. When you're not sure if your grief will be understood, it can feel as if you're mourning in silence. So how do we navigate this kind of grief? Here are some steps that can help you or someone you care about to process disenfranchised grief. Number one, validate mixed emotions. It's okay to feel conflicted. You can feel relief, anger, and sadness all at once. And that's a normal response. Grief is complicated. Normalize the experience. That's number two. Your grief doesn't have to look a certain way. Grief is personal and it's real. There is no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to mourning. Tip number three, encourage expression. Talk about your feelings, whether it's anger, relief, regret. Don't fear judgment. All of it deserves a voice. Yes, it does. 4. Explore unresolved issues. Sometimes the grief isn't just about the loss itself, but about the unresolved pain. That is where healing can truly begin. So my friend, grieving is as personal as it is complex, and you should never feel like your pain is invalid because it doesn't match what others expect. I've seen many clients over the years who have struggled with complicated feelings of grief. And I want to say this, it's okay to feel what you feel. Your grief is valid. You don't have to grieve in silence, and you don't have to fit into a mold of what others think grief should look like. If you experienced a loss, even one where the relationship was strained or difficult, it's still a loss. It's still worthy of your compassion. So be kind to yourself. Grieve in your own way. And if you need help, don't hesitate to reach out. You deserve to heal. Yes, I do work with clients one-on-one. If you're ready to start your healing journey, click the link in the description or connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also send me a direct message and I'll respond to get you started. Our one-on-one sessions will tackle challenges and where I use techniques, including EMDR, shadow work, mindfulness, narrative techniques. The healing is your goal. You'll find more peace and balance in your daily life. You'll gain confidence. You'll establish healthy boundaries. You'll improve your relationships. And also, you'll feel a lot more altogether and connected with your inner self. If you found this video quite helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do share. And until I see you in the next video, be kind to yourself.